Hello, everybody, and welcome to our live stream. So many of you already in the chat. It is so nice to see you. I am in the middle of a move, so things are a little bit different. Hopefully, this camera is going to stay there. The microphone's going to stay on. Nothing's going to fall down. Fingers crossed. So if you do have any cruise questions, if you can start them with question in capital letters, it just makes it so much easier for me to pick out what is a question and what is just everybody chatting in the comments. I did put up some Captain Hudsons here. I've got a couple more up here, but you can't see them. There you go. Hopefully you like that. Right, let's begin. Oh my goodness, so many comments. We have people in here a couple of hours early, which is amazing. Phil says we have a request. It's not a question, it's a request. And he says, everyone who's received their Captain Hudson should change their profile picture to the captain, if only for this live chat. That is a fantastic idea. So Captain Hudson, this one, he's been arriving all over the world, everywhere. And everyone's been sharing pictures of him, which has been so cool. So cool. Good morning. Yes, it is morning for some people. It is evening here in the UK. We have people who are even in tomorrow watching these live streams, which is pretty cool. I have put together a few collages, I think the word is, of the pictures of Captain Hudson that people have been sending me. It is absolutely amazing. So I'll be sharing those with you throughout this stream. I will share, I think let's share the first one. So this is Captain Hudson as he's been meeting cats. Okay. So this is the first picture. How amazing is that? I don't think a lot of the cats are very impressed with Hudson, but he's pretty good. I'd love to put that up and move the comment down, but I can't without going back and finding the comment. There it is. There you go. Lots of lovely cats. That is so cool. So cool. Right. Oh, I have a super sticker. Thank you, John, for the super sticker. That is much appreciated. I can't see the sticker, so I'm sure it's a good sticker, but thank you so much. David is in here taking a Hurtigruten cruise tomorrow. Very exciting. Yes, we have Kevin in here from 30 and a Wake Up. He's like 30 subscribers, maybe from 100,000. So if you're not already subscribed, maybe you can be the 100,000th, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's start with some cruise questions. Have you had your subscriber milestone yet? You get one for 100, so I've had the 100, and then the next one is 1 million. So I'm quite far off the next one. Okay, I saw some good questions. Cruise boys, good question. What surprised you most about your Fred Olsen cruise? Oh, probably the other people who were on this cruise. You know, I kind of thought it might be a little bit stuffy, boring. I don't know, but it wasn't like that at all. Everyone we met was super nice. I don't know if that was to do with the fact we were on a Northern Lights itinerary, so it attracts more adventurous people. I don't know, but yeah, I think the people surprised me, and also kind of I thought it would be very wear a tuxedo, formal nights, formal. It really wasn't like that at all. They do have 2 formal nights, but it's pretty casual. I love this comment. Oh my god, it's the ship YouTuber I fall asleep to every night. Thank you very much. Jonathan says, I'm wearing my Hudson t-shirt and my Hudson plush is out for delivery. Yeah, boy. Jonathan's definitely picked up yeah, boy from me. I don't think you say it in an American accent. I don't know. Sounds like a British thing. What is the worst behavior you've seen from passengers on a cruise? Of all cruises, I don't know, but of my last cruise, I can think of one. So there was a lady who had her feet out in the theatre on the seat in front, on the row in front, so as if he would be someone else's feet. I don't know if the lady knew that if she turned around she'd have feet in her face, but I think that's just disgusting. That's just terrible. It was a JJ Cruise video. They made something about someone having their feet out on a cruise, and it reminded me of that one. Have you done a Panama Canal cruise? No, I have not. I would really like to. That would be cool. Dan says, good morning, Emma. Having a wonderfully productive week over here. Amazing. So Dan is the US travel agent that I work with, and I send him lots of messages and lots of cruise quotes every single day. So I'm very happy. It's so exciting because, you know, I started working with travel agents during the pandemic, and all we did for the first 2 years was cancel things and give people refunds. So it's so nice to be able to book cruises again. Oh, Holly. Oh my goodness, it's so nice to see you, Holly. Holly is properly famous. I'm feeling a little bit starstruck. And there she is. She's on This Morning. That's how famous. If you're not from the UK, it's hard to understand. But she says, looking to book a family cruise, no fly from the UK. Which cruise line do you recommend? Kids 2, 3, 10, and 12. My first thought goes straight to P&O, and I would go with one of the newer P&O ships. I would probably go with Iona or Avia. That's what cruise line I chose to go on when I took a cruise with my nieces. We've maybe booked another one again, and it was just fantastic. So yes, I think you can't go too wrong if you want to do a Royal Caribbean, you want to do a Norwegian, you want to do one of those big American cruise lines. But some of the prices for P&O's Avia and P&O's Iona at the moment out of the UK are so cheap, so cheap. You can do, for the kids, 2 weeks, it was £149 each. So it's £11 a day for the kids, which is just crazy. So yeah, I think you can't go too wrong if you do a newer, bigger P&O ship, Iona or Avia, or one of the big kind of American cruise lines. I started cruising with Norwegian Cruise Line, and I don't think you can go too wrong with that at age 2, 3, 10, and 12. Oh, how exciting. So cool. I picked up Jaeger Boy from some YouTuber. I can't stop saying it. Yeah, I think I say it sort of a bit sarcastically, but yeah. Yeah, oh my goodness. What do you prefer, a sea day or a port day? I like a good mix of both. I wouldn't want a cruise that was all sea days, that's for sure. But I mean, I have done cruises that are all port days, and that's totally fine. But I would prefer a couple of sea days. I think 2 sea days in a week-long cruise is ideal for me. Michael says, ordered our Emma Cruise cookie shirts for our cruise in a couple of weeks. Amazing. They have been showing up in like 4 days, which is amazing because I picked a factory in the US. So if you're in the US, free postage, fast postage. The UK takes a couple of weeks because it's got to get across the Atlantic, but not too bad. As Sean says here, if you can start your question with question, it makes it so much easier for me to see what is a question. This chat goes incredibly fast, and I don't have time to read long messages, and I can't just put things on the screen not knowing what they're going to say. So if you can do a short question, start it with question, it increases the chances of me being able to answer it. I'll answer as many as I can, of course. If I don't answer your question, it's not that I'm ignoring it. It's just there's so many comments, which is amazing. I'm so glad I started these live streams in 2020 in March because we've built up. I see the same names though from those first live streams, which is so cool. Could you take a cruise from Southampton to New York? Yes, that's a very popular itinerary. The most popular one, I would say, is to do a Cunard transatlantic, which is the very, very fancy cruise line. But every cruise line does it pretty much in the spring and in the autumn or the fall, whatever you want to call it. At that time of year, they will move their ships because for some reason, no one wants to cruise in the cold. So the ships reposition normally to the warm weather. So if you want to do it at that time of year, you'll have, your Royal Caribbeans, your Norwegians, your Princess, all the ships are moving around. But Cunard go back and forward all the time. Chris says, was it rougher seas, Fred Olsen or the Christmas cruise? Fred Olsen was rougher, yeah, rougher for sure. Oh, I have another sticker, I think. Thank you so much for the sticker. I'm sorry I can't see it. I use a third-party thing to do these live streams, and I think they get stuck, so I'm not sure if you can see them on your side, but I'm sure it's a nice one, so thank you so much. But yeah, as far as rough seas go, before this cruise, my roughest seas were the Christmas cruise that I took with P&O. This was rougher. This was for less time, though, I will say. The Christmas cruise one was kind of dragged out because we were supposed to have 3 sea days and we couldn't dock, so it ended up being 4 sea days. And when you're feeling seasick and you want to get off, that seems like a long time. But Fred Olsen was more intense, but it was for a shorter time. So, yes. The Christmas cruise one, I didn't really feel seasick. I was fine. The P&O one really kind of took it out of me. I really struggled with it quite a lot. How can you send and receive text on Norwegian ships? I have 250 minutes of Wi-Fi included in the fare. Do I need a text app? If you want to use the internet, you're not going to be able to use your normal text. If you have an iPhone, you can use iMessages, but your normal text will charge you, and it will charge you a lot of money. If you have something like WhatsApp, that's the most popular thing that we use here. You can use that on the internet, or Facebook Messenger, maybe. I have a post, I think it's called How to Send an Email on a Cruise, but similar sort of thing on emmacruises.com. So check that out. Yeah, Cruise Boys say for their Aida cruise, however you want to say it, Josh, their son, is free. So £0, which is crazy cool. And I'm really looking forward to you guys doing this cruise because I don't know anything really about them. They're a German cruise line and I'm interested in it. So I will be picking the Cruise Boys' brains for sure. What is your favorite place to cruise? If I'm taking a cruise from the UK, Norway is my favorite. I think it's hard to beat Norway, but also I do like warm weather and I do get fed up of it being so cold. My last cruise was fantastic because I think if you're going to go on a cold cruise, you might as well do a really cold cruise. Oh, my camera is moving itself. That's not good. Hang on, stay there. Okay. I don't want you to fall on the floor. Please stay. But yes, my last cruise, at least it was a cold cruise and it was a really cold cruise. So that was good. That was good. Can you cruise in Asia or Australia? Yeah, you can cruise anywhere. Middle East, yeah, you can do Middle East cruises. Cruises are pretty much, all you need is the sea. If there's an ocean there, then pretty much. Don't think you've been on any Celebrity Edge. Do you have any plans? Yes. So I have booked on Celebrity Edge. Very exciting. A lot more than I'd normally like to pay for a cruise, I will say, but Celebrity Edge, I think it's going to be worth it. And I have booked this one. I know I'm team inside cabin, but when there's a controversial cabin, I want to get in it. So I have booked this thing that some people seem to love and some people seem to hate. So yeah, if you keep up with the channel, check that you're subscribed, please. You will see a video about that cabin and about that cruise. Do you have any first tips for a Queen Mary 2 cruiser? So with Cunard, Cunard is really the reason I started my website. I started it on a Cunard cruise because it was so different from cruising with Norwegian and MSC that I'd done before. It's quite formal. It's quite traditional. You need to be prepared for the dress codes. If you are, then that's good. Then all is well. The dress codes are stricter than any other cruise line. They apply ship-wide after 6 p.m. The dress codes on the informal nights are more formal than I would be on any other cruise line. But it's great fun. To me, it just feels like kind of playing a part for a week or so. And as long as you know that's what you're going to do, then it's really, really good. The food is very good on Cunard. The ships are very kind of, I don't really know how to describe them. Vintage in a cool way though. So yeah, you'll absolutely enjoy it. Go to the pub because they have free food in the pub and that's quite a nice place to go. Sometimes you don't want to do all of the, dressing up and everything. Is there a cruise line you would not go on? I don't think so. I think it's different now that I have this channel, of course, because I go on a cruise and if it goes well, that's great. And if it doesn't go well, that's also great. I'm still there to report back and tell you guys about it. So I don't think so. I book cruises for this channel that I wouldn't probably necessarily book myself just because I'm curious about them. But I've never been on a cruise where I didn't like it. As long as what I've paid matches what I get, that's kind of my thing. If I've not paid much, I don't expect anything. If I've paid loads, then I expect a little bit more. Fred Olsen are advertising mystery itineraries. Yeah, so they used to do this pre-pandemic, then they shut it down and they've just brought it back, and it's interesting. I think they're quite long, the cruises, the mystery cruises, but basically you don't know where you're going. You know where you start and you know where you end, of course. And I think they tell you roughly weather so that you can pack. But as far as I remember, I don't know if they still do it the same now, but it used to be like you would oh no, actually there was a different one where everyone voted on where you were going to go. But yeah, you basically get told this is where we're going tomorrow, which is quite cool. Thank you so much, by the way, to the moderators who look after these chats. I would not dream of doing a live stream without you, and I really, really appreciate it. Neil says Hudson's arrived. Yeah, Hudson has arrived all over the place, and I shared this picture a little bit earlier of Hudson and all the cats, and I have also put together one of Hudson and all the dogs. There's less dogs. One Hudson did get his face ripped off by a dog, but I'm not going to show you that one. And we've got some stuffed toys in there as well, which I think is very cool. So it's so fun. If you're not in our Facebook group, just search Emma Cruises or search Captain Hudson and it will come up. And at the moment, it's just pictures of Hudson, which is cool. Jennifer says, Emma, do you have another job in addition to a YouTube cruiser? How do you make that work? That is a brilliant question. So now I full-time work for myself. I run my own business. Prior to doing that, for the first 4 or 5 years of my channel, I had a normal full-time job. I worked in data development. I did a maths degree at university. And for some reason, I chose to give up coding for cruising. I don't know why, but I understand it's a really bizarre business. It's not like I take something and then carve some wood and then sell it, but I kind of am doing that with cruises, which is a bit strange. So if you go on my website, if you type in income, I have a list of every single way I make money. I think it's interesting. I'm really interested in the kind of business side, so I like to share it. So yeah, emmacruises.com, type in income, and that will tell you all the different ways, Oh, I don't know if I've said hello yet to Paul and Carol. Hello, Paul and Carol. It is nice to see you. Whenever I'm sort of at my parents' house, they'll always have Paul and Carol's live streams on, and I'll be like, I recognize those voices. I'm just reading this one. It starts with a question, and then it ends with not sure what my question is. I don't know. I need the question, please. How much soft drinks can you carry on P&O? I can't remember off the top of my head. If you Google it, I think it might come up with my own website, or it'll come up with P&O's. And really, that's the only site that you should trust is P&O or your travel agent. So let me know. Which cruise has the best internet? It's not that simple. It depends where the cruise is. It depends on the ship within the fleet, and it depends if they've got this new Starlink technology or they're working on technology that's 20 years old. It's not that easy, but I think it's upgrading really fast. I see Norwegian are upgrading all their ships soon, so it's pretty cool. Oh, Joey says, for millennials and Gen Z, Virgin Voyager ships or Norwegian Prima? Oh, that's interesting. Norwegian are a very kind of relaxed cruise line anyway, so there's no formal nights, there's no dress codes. They're already on that end of the cruising scale. Imagine you've got this traditional cruise where you dress up every day and you go ballroom dancing, and then on the other end, you've got a Norwegian cruise where you go on go-karts. They're already on that end of the scale, but then Virgin Voyages is like even further that way, because on Virgin, you don't even really know where the entertainment's going to happen. It kind of just, you'll just be there and stuff will happen. So you have to be open to kind of go with the flow. There's more kind of audience participation, I would say, on a Virgin Voyages cruise. But I think if you liked one, you would probably like the other. They're not so dramatically different. Norwegian do have, of course, the really exciting cruise ships with the, you know, the go-kart track, the 3-story go-kart track, and the VR and the whatever else they have. And Virgin Voyages don't really have that. Their ships, I don't know, they're not traditional in any way, but maybe a little bit more than Norwegian. So yeah, I think either one you went with would be totally fine. Totally fine. I think, well, price-wise, they're probably about the same, actually. Would you ever consider working on a cruise? I get pretty seasick, so I don't think I would like that. I would miss my cat, and I don't really ever want to mix kind of business and pleasure. I'm happy with, you know, yeah, I'm happy with the split. Do you think cats should be allowed on cruises? Absolutely not. Not unless they are stuffed ones like Captain Hudson, in which case, yes. Can you imagine having a cat and you're trying to keep them from going out on the balcony? It would just be a disaster. Plus, they would hate it. They'd have to have litter trays in the room. Imagine a litter tray in an inside cabin. That would be disgusting. I don't think so. Ross says, booked Prima in December, but hearing the venues are really undersized and the overall ship flow is bad. Agree or disagree? I haven't been on Prima yet, so it's very difficult to kind of make an opinion on that. I will say, though, the ship is still the same size with the same amount of people on it. So just because everything is split up into different venues, it's just a different way to do it. Personally, I like the kind of small venues, not really. I like the theatre, but I don't really want to be in a massive. So, I don't know, just personal choice, I think. How strict is the dress code on Holland America? I've not cruised on Holland America, but I think they're more towards the stricter side. They're more than sort of the big American cruise lines like Royal Caribbean and stuff like that. They're a bit more traditional, a bit more. Britishism is litter tray. What would you call the tray with the litter in it if it's not a litter tray? Tell me what that is, because I'm curious to know. What is the cheapest month to cruise? Probably November, February. January can be very cheap. I've done a week-long Mediterranean cruise, including flights, a balcony cabin, and drinks, I think, on that cruise for £350 each, which is just crazy. That was with MSC. A litter box. Oh, not a tray, a box. But it's a tray, it's not a box. Out of context, this makes no sense. I love it. That's good. See, I learn things all the time. This is how I get these Britishisms. I don't know what is a British thing until I see a comment about it. So, for example, squash. I didn't realize everybody doesn't drink squash. Oh, I see some people talking about. What are you talking about? I can't see. Someone's talking to Dan. Good work, Dan. Emma's website has an information submission form that goes directly to her agency partners. Yes, with me as well. I'm in there. I don't just send them off. But yes, I have a UK side and then I have a US side, and you can just click the flag. Easy peasy. Thank you so much, Frank, for my super chat. He says, wish I could stay longer, but must run. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much. Yes, so close to the weekend. So close. What is squash? See, yep, that is the most common Britishism I think I get. This is squash. So it's a diluted juice. That's the best way to say it. I think it's especially with kids, it's a very, very popular drink here. But I haven't drunk water, like plain water, I don't know, 6 months because you just drink squash. Yeah, thank you so much to my mum who's in the chat. Thank you. And thank you, Kevin, who are sharing links. They are moderators, so they can share links, which is pretty cool. How formal is? Oh, I need the end of that question. Interesting. Thank you so much. Right, I'm going to go try and find a question. Not going to go, just going to go up. What is it like to go on cruises several times a year? It is fantastic. Imagine what it's like to go on a cruise once a year, and then however many times you go on a cruise, just times that by that many times. I'm very lucky that I have a lot of differences in my cruises as well. It's not like I just do. Some people absolutely find a ship they love, they find a cruise they love, and they do that ship every 6 months forever. I'm not like that at all. So I do sort of river cruises, ferry cruises, big ships, small ships, traditional ships, less traditional ships. My last cruise was a Fred Olsen cruise, a British cruise line, and that was very much a traditional cruise. And I'm not particularly a traditional person. So for me, that was fantastic to sort of get to see the other side. Thank you, Catherine, for I assume it's a sticker. Yep, sticker. Thank you so much. And thank you, Charlie. I can see these after the stream, by the way. So it's not like I never see the stickers. I do. I can't reply in the live chat afterwards, but I always try and reply to the normal comments on YouTube as much as I can. How much is a cheap cruise? Good question. So for me, the point that I'm happy with booking a cruise is £100 per person per night, including gratuities. That's where I'm happy. If it gets down to £50 per night, I think that's a very cheap cruise, and that's very good because you struggle to book the cheap. There are some, I guess, but very cheap hotels on land cost more than that, and your cruise will include your food. You'll normally pay for drinks, it'll include your entertainment, it includes a nice room to stay in. So yeah, for me, I like to pay between £50 per person per night and £100 per person per night. Getting up to like Celebrity Edge was like 150, which is pretty high for me, but it'll be really, really interesting, so it'll be good. Chris says there's over 700 people watching. There's over 800 people watching now. Terrifying. And only 200 likes. Hit that thumbs up. Yes, if you could do that, that would be really awesome. It just gives YouTube a kind of good sign. Oh, if you got a cruise-related tattoo, what would it be? I don't have any tattoos, but I'll probably get Captain Hudson. Tommy's in here from the Always Be Booked podcast, and he says, is Fred Olsen a nice guy, a handsome fella? I don't know. I think it's Fred Olsen Jr. who runs Fred Olsen at the minute. I'm not sure. Can Yanks book Fred Olsen? Yes, if you come through our form on our website, click the You're from the US button. Dan in here is working on it. It's not that easy to do. It's not as straightforward as you think, but yes, it is possible. There were Americans on the Fred Olsen cruise, and I don't know, maybe 10 of them. I'm not sure. I did get a comment on my video. I just put out yesterday my video about the Fred Olsen cruise, and the comments were like, I was one of the Americans, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Have you ever thought about doing a ferry cruise in Japan? Well, I've cruised to Japan and I've cruised on ferries, and I like both of those things. So I imagine I would like it together. I don't see why not. So yes, that would be really, really cool. I want to show you another picture that I put together of Hudson. So he's gone all over the world, and it's just so cool to see. So this is the first thing. Let me find out how to get down the question. There we go. Here is this one, which is where Hudson has been. So he is in Finland, there at the bottom. He's in Arizona with the cactuses, which looks it looks so Arizona-y to me. And then he's in Australia on the top right. So he is all over the world. He's been doing things. He's been going to the zoo. He's been drinking wine. He's been doing some gambling. I don't know, but I can't wait until people start taking him on cruises. What made you name your cat Hudson? I didn't name him Hudson. He's a adopted cat. He's a rescue cat. I got him when he was 5. He came with the name Hudson, and I thought that was really, really cute. I was on my lunch break from work, and I saw a poster for Hudson. I wish I had a picture of the original Hudson poster. He was quite shy, and he looked a bit different. He was a bit bigger than he is now. He's lost some weight. But yeah, he's adopted. Please don't send the same message over and over again in the chat, because I'm not going to answer it just because you've done it 10 times. Because yeah, there's just yeah. Would you take an Aussie cruise? Oh yes, I would love to. That is the dream. That is the dream. £100 is about 180 Australian dollars. Brilliant. Yes, thank you. Makes sense. Have you done a repositioning cruise? I've done loads of repositioning cruises. So technically a repositioning cruise is just where you start in one place and you end in the other. I think if you're taking a cruise, say I'm taking one from the UK, I'm doing a Mediterranean cruise, it doesn't really matter to me if I start and end in the same place, if I'm just coming and going to the airport. So it can be quite a lot cheaper to do that. My last Norwegian cruise was like that. We got on in Lisbon, we got off in Malaga. Didn't really matter. I had a taxi to the airport. Didn't matter. And it saved us quite a lot of money by doing that. So yes, absolutely. Same with my cruise I did in Asia. I don't know if we ever would have afforded to go on that one if it wasn't a repositioning cruise. It was Singapore to Tokyo, which was awesome. Awesome. Ooh, do you like the name Snooze and Cruise? I'm starting my own business. I live in Southampton. That is really cool. Yeah, I like that. Jonathan adopted a guinea pig. Very nice. Very nice. Would you recommend cruising the Caribbean in August? Yes, I would. I would. Yes. Sailing on Princess in July. How formal is the dress code for the 4 formal nights? Oh, 4 formal nights. That must be quite a long cruise. Princess is not the most formal, but it still is kind of formal. I think if you're a man, you have to wear a proper shirt and maybe a tie, actually. I don't know. If you're a lady, you just wear a dress or something that's slightly sparkly. And all is well. But yes, it's quite easy to kind of avoid on Princess. It's only the main dining room. So if you did feel like you didn't want to do it, you can still eat in the buffet. You can still go to specialty restaurants, and it is fun. Cruise Boy says, should we postpone a cruise on Ascent, Celebrity Ascent, to go on an Alaska cruise? I don't know. I think so. But of course, that is up to you. That is up to you. What cruise lines do you recommend for children 12 plus? I think it's hard to go wrong with any of the big American cruise lines. I cruised as a teenager, just with Norwegian and then with MSC. I think it's hard to go wrong, again, with MSC. So I probably would recommend Royal Caribbean. You've seen their ships. They're just crazy. Norwegian ships are very similar, also crazy, lots of fun. If you're in the UK, P&O, the newer ships I think are great. Maybe an MSC cruise too. I quite like MSC, so maybe one of those. Cruise Boys say the tie is not required. That is good. That is good. Can I book through your travel agents when I'm not from the UK, US, Canada, and Ireland? I'm from the Czech Republic. It depends. It just depends on the cruise line, really. So our team in the UK, we will sometimes book for people who are outside the UK. If, for example, Royal Caribbean will let us. So that's the thing. If you want to just fill in the UK side of the form and just put a note in there and say where you're from, we can get back to you pretty quickly and say, like, we can't help, or yes, we can. Or, yeah, we'll let you know either way. So I should avoid all those cruises to avoid kids. If you want to avoid kids on cruises, if you avoid the school holidays, that does get rid of quite a lot of them. And also, I will say, you know, I've taken cruises in the school holidays with Royal Caribbean, with P&O. My last P&O cruise, it had 900 children on board, but it didn't feel like it. You know, I mean, I guess if you wanted to go in the inside pool, you'd have to like, it's like a soup of children, but I didn't want to do that, so it's fine. It tends to be there's certain places where the kids all end up, and if you just avoid those, then it's fine. They're normally in the kids clubs. They're normally off doing things that I don't want to do, so normally it's okay. What about Disney for those children? Oh, yeah, if they're Disney children, absolutely Disney. That's up to you, but you need to like Disney quite a lot to take a Disney cruise. Do repositioning cruises have all the same shows and entertainment? Does the discount come with reduced services? No, it's absolutely like a normal cruise. It's so normal to the cruise line. You know, when they're looking at their schedule, they might have, oh, okay, we're doing this loop 5 times, then we're moving there, 2 of those, then back. It's just a normal cruise for everybody. There's a get on date, there's a welcome show probably, there's a show at the end. It's pretty, doesn't really make any difference. 900 children, no, just no. They were quite behaved actually. Cruise boys say Captain Hudson is joining us in Yacht Club next week. Will we be the first to cruise with him? No. He showed up yesterday to someone who was going to their cruise yesterday. So he's already on a cruise. He came on some cruises with me already. So yes, but that'll probably be the first MSC Yacht Club, I'm sure. Get a picture of him on the sparkly stairs and stuff. That'd be really cool. Emma out of context. It's a soup of children. I don't know how else to describe it. When are you reviewing the 3-year cruise? 3-year cruise? Probably never, because 3 years. The thing is there's no reviews of this ship that I can find. I don't know anything about it, and what a gamble that it will happen for a start, and that you'll like it. Imagine getting on a cruise and you just didn't like it, and you're a week in, and you've got 2 and a bit years to go. Crazy. Should more cruise lines allow pets? Would prefer 500 dogs over 500 kids. That would be amazing. That would be pretty cool. I guess they don't want to do that because of sort of the logistics of taking them all to the toilet, and if they're going to sort of make a mess in the cabins and stuff. But same with kids. Kids, you could say the same about all of that. But that would be really cool. That would be cool. A comment on Regent Seven Seas would be appreciated. If you want to know about Regent Seven Seas, I'm gonna have to direct you towards Gary. Tips for Travelers, Gary. He picks up where I end. I do the inside cabins, ocean views occasionally, balconies sometimes, which is amazing. Not really on cruise lines like Regent, but Gary picks that up and does the suites and stuff, which is cool. Puppy cruise, take my money. Yes, that would be amazing. Have you met anyone who lives on a cruise ship? No, I've met people who are doing 6 months on a cruise or something like that, but live forever? I don't know. When you visited the kennels on Queen Mary 2, did you see any cats? Can't imagine how my cats would feel. They do have kennels for cats and kennels for dogs. If you don't have a cat or a dog, you can't go into the kennels. So I couldn't see them. You can see the dogs if they're walking around outside, but you can't just go in and stroke a cat. Another Britishism. I explained this in a video recently. We would say stroke a cat. Apparently that sounds weird if you're not from the UK. Thank you for my super chat, Turtle. Cool. Would you do the Royal Caribbean 274 night cruise? I guess so. I miss my cat Hudson far too much. And my family, I guess. I don't know, my first thought was my cat. But I do, I love cruising. Of course I love cruising. It would make no sense for me as a channel to do it now. It would, one ship tour every 274 days. So yeah, not for me as a business, doesn't make sense. But if I was somebody who had the money and I had the time and I didn't really have any reason not to go, that would be pretty cool. And with the Royal Caribbean, you can read thousands of reviews about it at least. Stroke a cat sounds totally normal to us. So that's what we say. Met a lady who lived on Queen Elizabeth too. Ooh la la. Any suggestions for a Norwegian fjord cruise from the UK, a smaller ship with a reasonable drinks package? Ooh. For a smaller ship, I'd probably be looking at the smaller Princess ships or the smaller P&O ships maybe. But then you said a reasonable drinks package. They're probably not P&O. Their drinks packages aren't great. Maybe Princess, maybe some of the older celebrity ships. I think maybe Fred Olsen even do it. So yeah, something like that probably. What is the longest cruise you would realistically do? For me now with the job that I have, I don't like to book cruises that are much more than a week, because in a week I can get everything that I need done. I have booked some up to 2 weeks, but anything longer than that, I wouldn't look at it at the minute, because I got to get stuff done. Oh no, going to give Hudson a stroke sounds like you're going to stress him out so much he has a medical event. Oh no, I'll always say, oh Hudson, come here. I want to give you a stroke. And that's totally normal. Little Big Man says, who did you do your most recent Northern Lights trip with? I did it with my other half, Jono, which was the perfect person to take because he understands all of the cameras and all of the tech, and you need that brain to photograph the Northern Lights. So yes, that was fabulous. I love your shows, even though I never cruise. Thank you so much, Fiona. I get this quite a lot, actually. People who don't go on cruises who watch my content, which is quite cool. When I started it, I definitely thought it was, I'm going to do tips. And I did for a while about people who want to go on this cruise. If you're taking this cruise, this is what you need to know. That's where I started. But now it tends to be people who never want to do it. They just want to see it. And that's what I watch on YouTube. I don't really watch things that I'm going to do too much. I watch the most random stuff. So if you never want to go on a cruise, you are very welcome in this community. It's really cool to have you. And a lot of you will end up doing cruises once you've watched enough cruise videos. Do you feel the suites are worth it on Royal Caribbean? Are they worth the money? I don't know how a suite can be worth the money for me because I would be so stressed out. I don't need a living room in my cabin because I can't be in the living room and the bedroom and on the balcony and enjoying the ship at the same time. So every time I was in the cabin, I'd be like, oh, I'm missing out on outside. And every time I was outside, I'd be like, oh, I'm missing out on the cabin. And I think that would stress me out personally. The exception is that suites often have baths. And I would pay extra just for the bath, I think. So, yes. Yeah, I got the Cruise Boys into cruising. Yeah, without me, there would be no Cruise Boys YouTube channel because I convinced them to take their first cruise. If cruising is your job, what do you like to do for a holiday? I have not taken any sort of non-cruising holiday in a long time. I don't know how long, years and years and years, because when I was still working and I had my sort of limited annual leave, it just didn't make sense for me to do anything that wasn't a cruise because I wanted to build up this business. Now I should probably at some point take a week off. But I don't want to because I enjoy it so much. I always want to be replying to the comments. I always want to be like designing new t-shirts. I want to be writing stuff for my website. I want to be editing the videos. I want to be doing everything. So yeah. Are you a bath human or does it help with your seasickness? I think it actually does. And I think it's the same sort of thing. If you go in a swimming pool when you're seasick, your brain kind of resets because it feels the movement. And the problem why you get seasick is your brain and your eyes are like saying, I'm moving. No, I'm not. And it doesn't like it. That's why you get seasick. So if you're in the sea, well, maybe not in the sea. If you're in water, I think it makes it a little bit better. Living the dream. Good for you. Thank you so much. There's so many people who I don't know, but they've seen some of my videos and they genuinely just so kind. I know people talk a lot about sort of haters on YouTube and you get some terrible people, terrible comments. And I was prepared for that, but I wasn't really prepared for how nice people would be. So it's so cool. Did you work on a ship before you were a cruise YouTuber? No, I've never worked on a cruise ship. I took my first cruise when I was a child. And then since then, I was absolutely addicted to it. And, I just sort of got a normal job. I thought it would be a sensible job. Study maths, that's quite a safe bet. Get a job out of uni, work there for 6 years, saved up my money, go on a cruise, saved up my money, go on a cruise, save up my money, go on a cruise, write about a cruise on the internet, make a YouTube video about a cruise so that I can do more cruises. And then here we are. Oh, how often do you actually see people that threw up? I have been on 53 cruises and I take the absolute worst ones for seasickness. I cruise in winter. I cruise the most random itineraries. I cruise the worst seas. And I've seen some, well, I don't think I even saw them, but I've heard of someone being sick once in all that time. And I think I was 15, 16 maybe. So it's not a common thing at all. You don't just see people throwing up on cruises. Even me, I'm very travel sick in my regular life. I couldn't, sit backwards on a train. Nuh-uh. I can't go in the back of a car for more than, I don't know, a couple of hours, maybe it'll be all right. But I am just a travel sick person. And I don't go on a cruise assuming that I'm going to feel seasick. It's very, very rare. It's only if we get stuck in particularly bad cruises, bad storms, bad weather, that it will happen. But almost all the time, apart from my last time where the seasickness really hit me bad, I don't know why. It must be some combination of other things. Maybe I was just a bit sort of run down already and it hit me hard. But normally, even if the seas are rough, say I'm on a cruise and they say the seas are going to be rough, a storm's coming in, I will just take my seasickness medicine and I'll be fine. Yes, my mum's in here linking to my seasickness tips post. That goes through sort of prevention and cure. If you can prevent it, it's much better than trying to cure it, because once you have it, it's kind of hard to get out of it until you get back to land. Oh, David says, I had a cabin opposite the medical center on a winter cruise. That was interesting. Oh, interesting. Oh, Jodie says, everyone is so nice because you give out an engaging and friendly vibe. Oh, that is so nice. Exactly. And also, I think I have a very low tolerance approach. If people are mean, if they're mean, not just to me, but if I see someone in my comments being like, oh, this other person did this, blah, and they're being mean, I'm just going to hide them forever from my channel, because this is my space. I created this on the internet. So I think that's also why I think it kind of, if you have people in there who are bad, it sort of breeds more bad comments and stuff. So I stop it as soon as I can. Loves that my mum's in the chat. My mum and my dad are always watching these live streams. They have since the beginning, and it's very, very helpful. Yes. Yeah, Boleto was really rougher than Ventura. Yeah, much rougher. On Ventura, it was rough, but I would sit down in the bars and lounges. On Boleto, I didn't leave the room until one day I left for afternoon snacks at about 9 p.m. and that was my first time out of the cabin. But by that point, I was feeling unwell, so I didn't eat for so long. And then when my appetite came back, it really came back. I ate all of the food. How do you decide who to take on a cruise with you? Oh, I just sort of. Oh, Hudson's here. Let's see if he'll come on camera. There's certain cruises that I know, my parents would want to do, or my family would want to do, or my friends would want to do, and they're all quite different, which is cool. Say hi, Hudson. Here's Hudson. He's gonna sit with us. He's gonna sit with us on the live stream. Oh no, he's not. Oh no, he's not. It's funny seeing there's so many cats that look so similar to Hudson, and people have bought their Captain Hudsons and then sent me a picture of it. Please don't knock over the table if he's here to cause trouble. Have you cruised on the MSC Opera? I did a very long time ago. I was a teenager and we did sort of Northern Europe. It wasn't the most exciting itinerary. I think it was very, very different. And I think my experience based on MSC Opera in 2012, I think, doesn't reflect what an MSC cruise is like now. I took one recently on the MSC Preziosa, and that's much more like what this cruise will be. I have videos about that on my channel. I have reviews of that on my website. And I think if you check out that will give you an idea what to expect on Opera. Will you be moving your map into your new background? Yes, of course. This is not the final background. I'm just in the middle of moving at the minute. So yeah. But I will probably be back to my old background for a bit and then a new one. But yes, wherever I go, the map will be there for sure. I love that map. Have you ever met a celeb on a cruise? Oh, I don't think so. I mean, I saw Daniel from The Undateables on the Norwegian Epic, and I thought that was amazing. But that probably is lost on a lot of you because it's very niche. Hi, Captain Hudson. Another reason we love watching your channel. Yes. I cannot believe it has blown my mind how this Captain Hudson thing has taken off. I just thought it would be funny. And I was so nervous about getting those first 300 orders. I didn't know if we would do it. But we got 1,300 and they're all over the place. And it's so cool. And I hope that people will see. So for those of you who don't know, we created and we sold this Captain Hudson. And we raised money for a charity called Mercy Ships, which they have hospital ships. They fill them with volunteers and they do surgeries and give people training and stuff. And they're awesome. So there's 1,300 of these out there in the world, which is crazy. And I have this t-shirt that I designed which says, I'm here with Captain Hudson, which I think is pretty cool. What I'm doing with these t-shirts is I'm hoping to have a new design every single week. And after this live stream, well, actually during this live stream and after this live stream, I'm going to do a discount that only lasts for 24 hours. So if you want this t-shirt, the link is in the description, I hope, or it's called emmacruisesshop.com. And if you type in I love Hudson, there's a discount on this t-shirt for a little bit. But I have got so many different ones coming up, but I don't want to put anything on my store until I've tested it myself. So I've got quite a lot of sort of things I've tried and just thought, that's not good enough. So yes, this is the waiting list for Hudson version 2. I've given him my design to the team that do it, and they've got to make the manufacturing designs of him. So he's going to be slightly different from this one. And I really hope that, we could do this every sort of 6 months, and hopefully we'll raise as much for charity, if not more, as we did before. And I'd love to just have all my Hudsons in my background. I think there's so much possibility. This is plain Hudson. The next one's going to be like a little life jacket Hudson, and I put a little sneaky thing in there that you will see. Then we can do formal night Hudson. We can do beach Hudson. There's so many things we can do. Thank you so much, Jack. He says, who looks after Hudson when you cruise? Other humans look after Hudson when I cruise. He doesn't go anywhere because I got him from Cats Protection, if you know who they are, like a charity that look after cats. And he was staying in what we would call a cattery, which I know is a Britishism, a cattery. And he was there for 6 months. So I think if ever I was to take him to a cattery, he would think that I was giving him up forever. So I don't want to do that. So he stays at home. His life stays exactly the same. The humans just change around him. He doesn't even notice. He doesn't really care if I'm here. There's no difference to his life, which I think is the best way, because he rules the house. Just realized you dyed your hair. I have not dyed my hair. This is just my hair as it comes out of my head. This is, I don't know how far we are after my second head shave. And I'm not doing it again. Will you be selling memberships to the shirt a week on your merch site? Memberships? It's just a thing where you just buy a t-shirt and that's it. I think that's it. Thank you for the super sticker. That is much appreciated. When I get the super stickers, it's so strange because they come up on my screen as like a little clock and they time out. And the more money it is, the more it stays on the screen, which is interesting. But I don't want to miss the ones that are like this goes. It's tricky. It's really strange. I wish it could be on a separate screen or something, but it's not. Yeah, we need a formal Hudson. I think that'll be possibly version 3 with maybe a bow tie or a tuxedo. And he could have, I don't know, will we keep his hat the same? I don't know. Isn't your hair color black or brown? No, it's just brown. Just plain old brown. Oh, shout out to Emily, who is taking the family on an amazing celebrity cruise. Oh, amazing. Lovely, lovely. Love those cookies. They are the best. Hudson at the beach plushie, yes. How many layers did you wear? I'm guessing this is on my last cruise because my last cruise was into the Arctic Circle. We went to see the Northern Lights, and most of the time I would have a long-sleeved thermal t-shirt, then like a fleece, and then my coat, and that was the best way to do it. Sometimes I found I was too hot actually, because it's your hands and your face that gets cold. And I actually had snow on my eyebrows at some point, and my feet were really, really cold. But your actual kind of torso seems to stay warmer. So 3 layers was perfect. First mate Hudson, yeah, there's so many options. I'm looking forward to it. It does take quite a while because it's not like you just order one and then it's shipped, because they don't exist. They're all handmade. So I have to open the sales window for a couple of weeks. We get as many as we get. And then it takes, I think it was 6 weeks for them to be made and then shipped out. So it takes a while. They're all custom made, which is really funny. We've had one that's got his little neckerchief was upside down, which I think is quite cute. But all the comments just said that he wanted to read it himself, so we put it on that way, which I think is really cute. Is it possible for a non-European to cruise on Marella? It is, but it's difficult, way more difficult than you would think. The problem is, as far as I know, Marella want a UK address. So to get around that, if you use something like PayPal, it's fine, but they don't make it easy. And I've had conversations with Marella, and every time I talk to them, I say, there's a massive market out here. Do you not want us to be able to sell it, or do you not? And they just say like, not really. They're not really particularly bothered about it. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on some cruise lines going back to the old muster? Well, interestingly, some cruise lines have gone back to the old muster, and then come back again to the new muster. So what is the old muster? It is basically when you get on a cruise ship, you have to do a safety drill within the first day. Makes sense? And they used to do it that you would go to where you would go in a real emergency. So that might be a lounge or the theater, or that might be the promenade deck. And everyone goes there at the same time, and they tell you sort of how to put on your life jacket, whatever you need to know. Don't slip on the deck, don't throw things overboard, kind of rules. And that's how they always used to do it. But that does mean thousands of people together at the same time, which during COVID, that just didn't work. So they changed it so that you would either watch that safety video on your phone or your cabin TV, and then you would go to your muster station whenever you were ready. You still had to go, you still knew where it was, but you didn't have to stand around on the promenade deck for 20 minutes in the heat or the cold. So I much prefer the new style. And some cruise lines like Norwegian, they went back to the old style and then everyone didn't like it. So they've gone back to the new style again. The way I see it, I get exactly the same information in the new or the old style. I still go to the same place, but why do I need to go when there's 1,000 other people there? It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't see how it's easier for anyone either. So yeah, I'll absolutely stick with the new style. New style. What are your thoughts about the MSC cruise line? Not heard good reviews anywhere. I have done 5 MSC cruises, my first in 2012 and my last being last year, and I like an MSC cruise. I think they get a lot of unfair complaints, but also I think that the complaints were possibly deserved in 2012. It's changed a lot. So the complaints that you used to get about MSC were that the food was sort of small portions and cold and stuff, and I don't think that's the case now. I think the food has improved a lot. It's a very different cruise though, from a Royal Caribbean cruise, from a Norwegian cruise, from a Carnival cruise. Because an MSC cruise has people on it who are Italian, German, Spanish, French. Everything is done in all of those languages. So if you don't mind that, if you like that, it can be a really good option. The ships are fantastic. They're beautiful. And I think it's fun. I think it's good fun. It's hard to get, a week cruise for £300 with other cruise lines. And for that price, I like it. If you book one from the UK, they include gratuities. You just have to know that it's a different cruise. You have to expect that you're going on a different style of cruise. If you go on it expecting it to be like a Royal Caribbean, it's not going to be. It's not. It's different. You start counting with your pinky like this. No, probably not. I'd go that way. Cruise boys say, totally agree with Emma. We have possibly done more MSC than Emma. Yeah, I think so. It's hard though. I mean, Cruise boys have a son called Josh, and Josh loves MSC, loves it, absolutely loves it. So there's a vote for the kids clubs there, and they have ropes courses, they have water slides. They're very exciting cruise ships. So that's cool. I love how the sun is setting throughout this live stream, which is quite nice, isn't it? What do you think about smaller ships like your last one, or do you like the large ones? I like all of them. I think there's benefits of both. It was really nice on my last cruise to be in the buffet and I want to take something back to my room. I've only got to go one flight of stairs and then it's there. And I'm right by a bar and I'm always near everything. If you're on some of the big ships, like I took a Costa cruise recently, and I think it was deck 18 the buffet was on, something like that. So you can be walking up 9 flights of stairs all the time. I quite like that. On the smaller ship, I felt like I barely got any exercise because the ship was so small. I didn't need to. Even if you did loads of laps, it's not that big. So I like the big cruise ships, but I totally understand why not everybody does. So Iona or Aurora for your first cruise? Oh, it depends what you like. If you're someone who wants a traditional, smaller cruise, Aurora's great. If you're somebody who's a family, I would, or younger, probably Iona. Iona's much more sort of modern. It's more relaxed, but they're both pretty good. I've cruised on Ventura, which is probably the closest to Aurora. If you check out my Ventura content and then check out my Iona content, I think if you watch both videos, it'll be very clear the differences. Actually, I made one which was just about the differences. So yes. How many countries have you visited? I have not kept a list. I probably should though. Probably should. Is there animal cruises? No, you don't. You can't bring animals on cruises. You can't. You can if you're doing a transatlantic cruise. If you're taking one with Cunard, they have kennels and you can put animals in there. But there's the odd kind of themed cruise that is, cat themed cruise or something, but there's no cats. So really, I don't know what the point of that is. I did quite a lot of research into a certain sort of lifestyle cruise this week for a post on my website about pineapples. And if you know what that means on a cruise, then you know what that means. And that was very interesting, actually. Did you know people used to rent pineapples? Like pineapples. Because they used to be so expensive. I can't remember now, but does Azamara have a very rigid dress code? No, I don't remember any sort of strict dress codes on Azamara. I don't think so. If anyone else is in the comments and they remember or they know, please let me know. But I don't think so. Do you think MSC deserves the food the food it gets, the hate it gets for its free food and service? In my opinion, for the great price you get, it's very nice. I think it's sort of people who are going on a Norwegian cruise. You can't compare Norwegian food to MSC's food. It's you've paid like a third of the price for the MSC cruise. So I think it's just important to have a bit of context to everything, you know. And I enjoy it. It depends what you like. Sometimes I like the food more on MSC. They have more vegetarian choice on MSC than a lot of the other American cruise lines. So, you know. Is it easier sailing from the country you live in or having to fly out? It's easier for sure. It's really nice to cruise from your local port, but yeah. Just see some strange comments on the side. But yeah, the thing about I'm from England, so there's a limit how many sort of you can do Norway cruises, which is great. You can do Northern Europe cruises. You can go to Bruges and Rotterdam and places like that, which is good. But the weather is likely to be the same as it is in England. And sometimes I just want to get away. And we can fly to Barcelona or somewhere so cheap. It makes sense just to do that. A couple of hours and then it's completely different. You should have your own peak time TV show. Recently subscribed and totally hooked. Thank you so much. I don't want to be on TV, you know. I think a lot of people think that's the natural progression, but the way I see that, it would be like, you know, the same thing I'm doing now, but someone else is controlling it, someone else is editing it, and there's sort of a limit on when it goes out. It's very controlled, but at the minute I can do whatever I like, I can say whatever I like, and kind of sky is the limit as far as the channel goes. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe if it was a sort of show I just show up, I'd just go on a cruise. Don't have to do all that much. That would be cool. But yes. What is the best option to dip your toes into cruising if you're worried about paying a lot for something you won't like? From the UK, don't love kids. Interesting. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing a 2 or 3 night cruise. And I think a lot of people do that because they think, oh, it's short, it doesn't cost me that much. But it can be very, very different from a longer cruise. So I think really the best answer is to talk to a good travel agent, because you're just talking to someone who knows so much more about cruising. So that is what I would recommend. Yeah, I think we need to know so much more to kind of be able to answer that question, and that's what a travel agent does. So yeah, if you do want any help with that, please feel free to fill in the form and we will get back to you. But I'd probably suggest sort of 5 nights, 7 nights. If you go with one of the big American cruise lines, British Cruise Lines, MSC. I mean, I don't know your thoughts on these things, so there's so many. Oh no, don't. The moderator put me in timeout for putting up a pineapple. Oh no, I stand by, of course, my moderators. I appreciate you guys, but just letting you know, pineapples are totally fine. I'm talking about pineapples. Do you get kettles in your room on cruises in Europe? Yes, absolutely. Like my last cruise with Fred Olsen, if you take a cruise with P&O, one of the British cruise lines, and there's not a kettle, there's going to be outrage. Outrage. Absolutely. I really miss it when I cruise with American cruise lines, just because I start every day with a cup of tea and I want to have that in bed. I don't want to get up and go to the buffet and get the tea. I don't always want to do room service too. So yeah, I really miss that. Really miss that. If you had to pick 1 or 2 ships to revisit, oh, where's the question? What would it be? I would like to go back to the Norwegian Spirit. That's the first cruise ship I ever went on, and she's had a really big Norwegian refit, really made her very Norwegian. She was bought from another cruise line, so she was kind of a bit different, but I would like to see what they've done with her, because I really liked her before. Does MSC give you a kettle? Oh, I think it is depending on the itinerary, as far as I know. So when you cruise out of the UK, we did, but I don't think always. So yes. Aren't kettles a fire hazard? I don't see how kettle is a fire hazard. I don't think so. Everything would be pat tested and stuff, so I don't think so. You can talk about pineapple on pizza. Yeah, I'm agree. I like pineapple on pizza, but also I like ketchup on pizza. So people don't sort of people don't like that. Yeah, kettle is a deal breaker. It is. It's good. Quite often, though, if you are on a cruise line and there's not a kettle, it's worth asking because sometimes the cabin steward will be able to find a kettle for you. They might just have a certain number, so they don't always put them out for everybody. But yeah, I miss it. Okay, so we are nearly at the end of our live stream. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me, and thank you for all of your nice questions. Thank you for all of your lovely comments, by the way. And if you haven't seen my latest video, my latest couple, I made one about the Northern Lights, amazing, the cruise that I did, and one more about Fred Olsen, about the sort of traditional. I had late dining, I had table sharing, I had all of that good stuff. So yes, thank you so much, everybody. The discount for this, I Love Hudson, will be for the next 24 hours. And I will not be back next week. I will not be here next week. I'm going to try and do a live stream, maybe, depending on how good the internet is where I'm going. But I'll let you know more about that soon. So yes, Emma's latest blog is about the pineapple. Yes, emmacruises.com or just Google Emma Cruises pineapple and it will come up. Yes, pineapple on pizza. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks so much, everyone. Happy Easter. Yes, happy Easter. Goodbye, Karen. Goodbye, Adam. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.